Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, September 12th, and we've got a lot to do. I've spent the early part of today messing with my Wi-Fi. Odd, very odd that the speed that I'm trying to get, which is 100% of the speed I can get via wired, seems to be drastically affected, particularly on the 5 gigahertz band, with just distance and power. So while I have a lot of settings that I've messed with to get it as far as it is, there is definitely an issue of just a need to crank up the juice and probably move where the Wi-Fi router is, but I can't really do that, not easily at least. That doesn't really have much to do with video games though, so let's move forward. We need to play rogue games and do a tavern brawl, so we'll start with that. I spent some of yesterday playing Dead Space 2. Unfortunately, also we pick your first 7 cards of your deck and we'll fill the rest with unstable portals, and you'll get portals after your mulligan. So first 7 cards, and we have to play a rogue, so I don't know how you can fix this in any way that you would want to play as rogue. Let's see. If we could look at cards that included cards that reduced their cost based on to how many things you've summoned that weren't in your deck, that would be cool. But interesting, Whizbang is banned, although he's not. Shuffle the golden monkey into your deck. He's not. Let's see. Deck would be full of duplicates. Let's see. You could take that. Yeah, there really is no good system here. No good system at all. If I could try for the golden monkey, shuffle 3 copies of friendly minion into a deck. Summon a recruit a minion that costs 4 or less. Recruit an 8 cost minion. Yeah, I really don't have much I can do here. Let's see how that plays. That probably is going to play awful. So yeah, I played a little bit of Dead Space 2 yesterday. Unfortunately, I also took a nap, so scheduling and sleeping just as soon as it started to feel like it was going the right direction, seems like it 2 steps forward, 1 step back, maybe. Hopefully not 1 step forward and 2 steps back. I don't feel incredibly sleepy right now, so I might be good there. I wasted a lot of time playing Dead Space 2 because the Let's just trade that one. The character. What is his name?
The legions I command.
No, there is no character. I don't even know what I'm talking about. The game, Dead Space 2, keeps crashing. It keeps locking up my entire computer. I've at this point determined it's almost certainly the fault of the game itself, and it seems like there's no real solution there. So it's locking up my entire computer, which is not allowing me to stop recording, which is a problem, most definitely. So yeah, I'm certainly not happy. I spent an hour recording the same footage over and over again. It took me 3 different tries to get even 30 minutes of footage from point A to point B. I've lost about 20 minutes of footage in a pretty important part. It was the introduction of a new enemy type for the sequel game. Fortunately, later on they reappear, so it's not a total loss, but
do you have the artifact?
That certainly is irritating. Okay, so that summons the map to the golden monkey, which I forgot how this system works actually. So I could copy some copies of this back into my field. Let's see, the map to the golden monkey is a 2-mana spell, same as Unstable Portal.
Get back.
So this is probably Explosive Trap. Interesting, not actually Explosive Trap. So I'm in a weird position also with Dead Space 2 because I need to get that stuff uploaded and going, but theoretically I need to spend the rest of today uploading the rest of the Boomsday puzzles and scheduling that. See, I think that's just gonna take too long, so I'm probably gonna have to just take a break with that and start getting the Dead Space 2 stuff uploaded. Theoretically, I guess it should have been uploaded
Do you have the artifact?
earlier, like last night.
Get back.
Job done.
Without Dead Space 2 running, my computer ran perfectly fine. There have been a considerable amount of updates from Windows 10. So maybe Windows 10 is, with its April update, really just did hammer out some really garbage code. That is also possible. What I resolved to do, because it was crashing my USB hubs, is take that character, pull out an old PC. What am I trying to say? I had to pull out an old PS2 keyboard and plug it in just as a backup. So now my computer has permanently plugged into it a backup keyboard, just so I can go hit Alt-Tab, Control-Alt-Delete, or just the shortcut key to stop recording. Yeah, I don't think my strategy here is going to work. Also, this didn't work. I don't believe. Well, maybe it did. Because I didn't choose this one. Yet that's still in my hand. Okay.
Go fish.
Get back.
That didn't work.
I'll tickle the line.
Get back.
What else? I think that's for the most part the catch up. we've got a decent amount of news to cover. So we can just start going into the news with the ever-present hope to have a quick and concise streaming session. Today's potentially going to be pretty long because we have a lot of news and we have a lot of data quests to do. I recorded so much Dead Space that regardless of how much of it actually got used, that I was hurting my throat, so yeah, I am definitely in the right position to take a little bit of a break. Put any minions on the field directly on the battlefield. So let's start with the news and get through all of this. So there's probably the biggest news today is the European Parliament. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get an article that really explains this greatly, has endorsed an idea of upload filters and link tax, so that everything that gets uploaded would have to immediately go to a filter system of some sort. They're not really explaining what a link is or what the filters are, or defining them in any kind of real legalese way. They're instead just yeah, that's not gonna work. Let's just play with the deck that I think everybody is gonna end up playing on this. So as I understand it, the upload filters means you would absolutely censor 100% of anything that's uploaded ever. This would inherently cost YouTube and Twitch and services like that a lot more money than, say, most sites that are only publishing their own things, because I imagine publishing your own thing doesn't require an upload filter. Or you could say it's being upload filtered but not really filtering anything. It's definitely a pro-censorship concept in the form of copyright. Copyright, more and more, particularly in Europe, is being used as this excuse to filter out dissenting opinions. And then the idea of a link tax, as I understand it, sounds just insane, where you, for every link you put on your website, you're going to be paying a tax. Yeah, right. Like, when you see things like this, from an American perspective, from a United Statesian perspective, I really think you just have to you will have to think that perhaps it's just time for the mostly United States companies, or a lot of them are United States companies, to just pull out of the European Union and say, fine, we won't do business with it. Now, on the other hand, you have EA and the Belgian authority saying the loot boxes are gambling, and we kind of applaud that. So they go one way and then they go the other way, and I guess that's how you know that the government is an average government in the European Union, is because some things they do seem very reasonable and logical, and some things they do seem to be total insanity and a lack of understanding of how the internet works. We'll probably get back to that article In the end, there may just be a great firewall of the European Union, and a lot of sites will simply refuse to let people access the European Union. And that's kind of not what you want. You don't want the vast majority of people in the European Union to get censored like they do in so many other countries.
Form of dragon.
I'm hoping to hit that guy. There we go.
Job's done.
Probably should have attacked this guy. Eurogamer has an article. The Nintendo Direct broadcast is scheduled for tomorrow. Update, new timing finalized. So, last week's Nintendo Direct will broadcast tomorrow, exactly 7 days on which it was originally scheduled. It is 11 p.m. in the UK, midnight in Central Europe, 6 p.m. Eastern, or 3 p.m. Pacific across in the United States. I don't see a real reason for people to bother to watch Nintendo Directs. You're really not going to get a ton of information that's helpful or interesting. It's going to be some pretty dry and boring stuff, particularly in this instance where I'm pretty sure they're just going to tell you what you already knew about how the Nintendo Online services are going to basically suck. TechRaptor has an article, Dead or Alive 6 punches in February release date. So February 15th, 2019 is when Dead or Alive 6 comes out. I hope it's good for people who like Dead or Alive. Right, and let's see how this works. That worked pretty good. And see, I knew this Tavern Brawl was all going to be around the Mana Worm and just casting spells, because there's just so many spells to cast.
This jungle hides many.
We have a game on Steam called Cube Full of Mines, which looks like it's a clicking game with a giant cube. No, actually what it is Minesweeper with a 3D cube. Interesting. Not sure how that actually plays out, but I'd be slightly interested in trying to find out. It's not doing anything interesting though. All it is 6 surfaces. So basically if you folded the 6 faces of a cube flat and made that a Minesweeper game, that's all they're really doing here. I really don't see anything different otherwise. I have plenty of health, so just keep on attacking. Cube for Mines has its own EULA. It's 10% off for $3.59. And let's see if it's the first game from this developer. Yes, it is. So easily skippable is just asking for way too much, considering it's barely just a slight spin on Minesweeper. There are better Minesweeper-esque games already out there. Well, that solves that problem with the Tavern Brawl. So let's open this pack. I still feel like it's the right move to open packs as early as possible. Like, I definitely could see an argument. Why do I have the different background right now? I guess I'm not going to complain about it, but I should have the Lemonade background card back, and I don't. And let's go ahead and disenchant this one for dust. I wonder where that came from. So I'm at 800 dust. I should have the Lemonade, but instead I have the Boomsday background, and I'll stick with that because I really hate the way this looks. That is just rather ugly. I think they're staying too consistent on the card backs anyways. They need to really spice it up and do a completely new design. Just, you know, every year on the anniversary just going, look, this is going to be our new design. We don't need to brand everything to look like Hearthstone. I know the Magic the Gathering card backs have been the same forever, and there was a reason for that, but there kind of isn't a reason in a digital version if you're going to change the card backs of all the cards. Rogue, and Rogue are all we can do. So we go over to rank play. We pick Death Rattle Rogue, which is already selected, I guess. Yeah, that's my only choice. And we play. Gamasutra has an article. Riot, the saga of Riot continues. Riot has brought in the former Uber culture fixer to fix up the culture. Riot Games has brought in Uber's former senior vice president for leadership and strategy, Francis Frey, F-R-E-I, to help improve its workplace culture. Frey will act as a senior advisor to the League of Legends Creators Culture Strike team, having spent a career helping companies such as Uber address their toxic culture by fostering inclusivity and teamwork. Now, I would argue that depending on if you must use that terrible phrase that is way too overused of toxic, I would argue that Uber is still a very, very toxic culture company against its drivers and its contractors, and many would argue should be its employees. Just because they fixed the 100 or so, I'm guessing, actual employees of Uber has a problem, or at least they say they fixed that, does not mean that they are treating any of the actual Uber drivers, any of the people that the end user would deal with, any better. Is like, I doubt it. And you know, when you compare to like taxi drivers, there's always been stories of people getting in taxis with taxi cab drivers and them being just crazy or just totally aggressive with their political beliefs. But for the vast majority, anyone who is smart that's a taxi cab driver knows that you just generally don't talk to anybody anyways. And sort of the benefit there of modern technology, where you can have Bluetooth headphones on and listen to music or have a completely separate conversation from the people in the back, helps a lot of that. Although I have heard of a couple of examples of Uber drivers doing crazy things and trying to turn their cars into party limousines and have weird events. Everybody's struggling to get that 5-star rating. Let's see, let's continue with the story. Her appointment is a direct response to a recent report of sexism and workplace harassment. So that like Gamasutra is continuing this saga and bringing back the old articles, which almost certainly did well for them. So yeah, that kind of makes sense that they're just going to keep on pushing the same stories. Let's go kill that. There's a quote here. After spending time with Riot's leadership and many others across the organization, it became clear that Riot is truly putting everything on the table and committing to evolving its culture, she commented. In my interaction with writers, I've seen extraordinary levels of engagement on these issues across the company. Every writer with whom I've met truly cares about inclusion, which means real change is possible. Which certainly could go into a question about how can you claim that Riot is a toxic, sexist environment when everybody she's met in Riot is allegedly the exact opposite of that. They want inclusion. They want that. Another quote here is, Riot isn't simply interested in fixing problems on the surface, it has an ambition to be an industry leader and provide a roadmap for others to follow. I share that ambition and I'm eager to help Riot navigate this process. So yeah, we'll see what happens, or we're more than likely won't see what happens, and this will be the end of the Riot saga, which could have ended 2 stories ago had Riot just, like, I still think Riot should have responded to that first Kotaku article and then done nothing else. And had they just done nothing else, there wouldn't have been 2 more stories for them to write. They really kept putting their own foot in their mouth.
Have a taste.
Alright, I suppose in one way the European Union is trying to censor the internet. On the other way, Valve is trying to not censor Steam. So PC Gamer has an article, and this is also important to video game and freedom of speech, but probably not as important as, nowhere as important as the European Union trying to censor the internet completely for everyone. If I play this, I die. If I play this, I die.
My shield for Argon.
Let's go ahead and do 1 damage there.
Justice is mine.
Can't really do anything more, so we'll end the turn now. PC Gamer has an article, quote, naked demon with a large penis, end quote, and other content descriptors waiting for approval on Steam. Valve has a lot to sort through now that Steam's new policies have taken effect. Remember, this is coming from PC Gamer, who pushed for, it seemed at least a month, if not 3, pushed for Valve to censor everything and anything on Steam. The first is to get rid of the sex games so nobody would complain about them, and then it would be the games that they can consider sexist, which would include almost every game, or games that they in some other way find subversive, because that's really what this all just comes down to, is a idea of censoring as much as possible and deplatforming as many people as possible that don't agree with the SJWs. Let's see. Article starts, yesterday reported that Valve had approved an uncensored adult game for sale under its new submission policy. So they're just linking back to their previous article. Let's go ahead and skip.
There once was a man from Gilneas.
You shinies.
see, today developer Georgy Kutenkov, sounds like a Russian name if I've ever heard it. Let me know, like the developers of the Negligee Love Stories, which was the first game approved. And I believe Negligee Love Stories was supposed to be released like 4 or 5 months ago, because I saw it. Like, I knew it was coming out, and then it got caught up. So this person is waiting for approval for their game called Boob Saga, and contains a quote naked demon and quote resurrection via an opening resembling an anus. So this is like a a troll game. I'll open its store page just to double check. But almost certainly the first thing. Yes, there's the final part about this is this Russian developer is saying, I'm hoping people will Valve will approve my game. Many people are opposed to my game in Russia, which no duh. So let me just look at their website, their page, and yeah. While this may be using some 3D assets that they want and have a little bit of polish on this, this is, if not a troll game, a low effort game. In fact, I've seen games like this on Steam before, that where you're running around the dungeon and they've just put in some crazy nudity. Nude character models. I'm seeing in the trailer a bra that shoots bullets and a cannon on the crotch of a lady that shoots bullets. There's a censored outdoors that are supposed to, I assume, represent something gross. And it's selling itself with the phrase ultra violence. Like, this clearly is a troll game. So PC Gamer immediately goes and tries to find the grossest, most obscene troll game that have been trying to get on Steam for a very long time, and have some of which have been allowed on Steam for a short time, and they're just going to try and make that logical fallacy the slippery slope fallacy. If anything, I'd say this game actually has a lot of customization features that is slightly surprising, where you can adjust the body size and the clothing color. Yeah, I mean, it really is just a merger of a dungeon crawling game with obscenity on top of it. Even the name is just extremely low effort. It says available when the game is approved, and I doubt this game will be approved, because I think this is just a troll. Like, I really do. This isn't somebody who lovingly spent a lot of effort and their first intention is to sell a good game. This is somebody who's trying to sell something on sex. One of the screenshots has the character as a bunny, so that seems like that's an option too. So yeah.
None can escape my fury.
No duh. That's called yellow journalism right there. That's propaganda. When you find the worst case example, you see it a lot on Fox News and CNN, where they'll try to say that they're having a balanced conversation, where they'll bring in, like on CNN, they'll bring in one conservative and then 3 progressive people, and then the one conservative is always this bumbling fool that doesn't have any way to defend or debate the 3 other people who are talking over them. And particularly on CNN, because I don't watch Fox News, you see a lot of the times the one of the 3 people that the conservative is debating against is the host of the show, so they will exact and use their authority in different ways to cut them off, or in other ways argue with them and discredit the person. So it's far from what you would call a scientific debate or anything that would be even ideologically useful for anybody. There are dozens, if not hundreds, of good H games, ecchi games, sex games that have been on Steam in censored formats and are waiting to get released on Steam.
Justice is mine.
To try and find the worst case example and say they're all like this just continues down my problem of the way Steam really was letting a lot of Steam Direct trolls put out a bunch of sex games that were really low quality, but then they were holding back all the high quality games. Like there is quality out there. There really is. If that's what you're looking for. Like, and most of the quality sex games are visual novels, and they are from Japan. So in a weird way, if you're not highlighting at least some of those, you're also kind of being anti-Japanese, because it's such their field, which certainly is ridiculous. Of course, we probably already had this conversation several dozen times before. It seems like the good news is Valve is going in the right direction. One assumes the thing, lot of tricks and other shenanigans could happen to slow down the release of games more or deny the release of more games. But I'm hoping Valve will see that every time they deny any game, there's going to be an outcry. And that was inherently what their desire was, to make sure that did not happen. Let's see. Can I die here? Not really.
Job's done.
Let's see, Your Gamer has an article. There's an Alan Wake TV series in development. I believe this isn't news, honestly, because I'm pretty sure that was announced like a year ago. And like that's like not anything new. I don't know, maybe there was something that happened in the background and there was an Alan Wake TV series, or they expressed desire to make an Alan Wake TV series and it actually never happened. That could be the case. Let's see.
There once was a man from Gilneas.
And what do I want to do? I want to potentially use this up.
Justice is mine.
So I'm gonna kill this one. Kill this one. Kill that one. Attack that one. The last part of this article, skipping down to the bottom, is according to Harlan, Thomas Harlan, A number of studios have already expressed interest in Contradiction's Alan Wake project, and that it plans to begin circulating Callaway's full pitch in October. So yeah, there is a pitch out there, which doesn't really mean anything. You really aren't getting anywhere. Oh darn it, I needed to have killed this guy. I screwed that up. I screwed that up badly. I needed to get rid of this one so I didn't end up with armor. Ah, but that's not a big deal. Like, it'll be at least a year, if not longer, before we saw an Alan Wake TV series. And I'm not sure what you really do with a TV series either. Having played that first game and found it mostly boring, and didn't even play the DLC part on that, I don't know what you do to move that into a better series. The whole game is, for the most part, just a homage to it's really just an homage to Twin Peaks, and so you're really just saying you want to make a new Twin Peaks TV series, which there's already several games and that have already tried to make Twin Peaks games, and several TV series that have tried to be like Twin Peaks. Eurogame has another article. Bandai Namco releases, pulls Cervantes reveal trailer for Soul Calibur 6. Let's see. So apparently he wasn't supposed to be announced yet. Or, you know what, I wouldn't be surprised if this was supposed to be some kind of announcement with the Nintendo Direct or timed around the Nintendo Direct, although that would imply Soul Calibur 6 is going to be on the Switch, which I'm not even sure that's the case. So somebody screwed up. But that also is very much not very much news. It's like somebody accidentally announced something that we already know will eventually get announced. Let's see. Let's see. Do I have enough to win this turn? No. Alright, so Game of Switcher has an article. Valve approves uncensored adult game for release on Steam. It is a big deal that the games are uncensored now. But also it's kind of weird that the game, it's just been one, but it has also been one day, so I guess we'll have to look at that. Weirdly, nobody is linking directly to the game. And I just tried to click on the link on Steam.
Flashlings are so fragile.
And it didn't work. Ah, I see. So it says, oops, sorry, you must log in to see this content. But then there's no way to log in, so their website really is screwed up. Like, I thought it really was just a lie there, but you really do have to, like, if you try to direct link to this content, you're not getting a place where you can click to log in. And I guess that might explain let's see. Destroy a minion, take damage to its health. Get hit that one, hit that one.
Was a man from
And that. So I do want to see Negligee, but I would have to log into Steam. So how do I do this? I guess what I'm gonna have to do is bring up Steam, and let's bring it over to my second screen and see how this works. Continue to play. I need 2 more Rogue or Warrior victories. I could move over to Warrior, but I'm not gonna break his streak, so let's try that. So now on the Steam browser itself, yes, Negligee was on my wish list. It has been on the wish, been announced. Well, no, it says it's coming out October 19th.
Iron hand of justice.
Am I misreading that? That says October 19th. Then they must have moved the release date to a later point in the future, and then they got released earlier. Yep. So the thing I'd say about Negligee, as I understand it, is you're playing 4 parallel stories of 4 anime-looking girls in their lives and their dating. I don't see any male characters at all, so I don't know, maybe you're playing as a male character that dates 4 girls, but I don't think that's what I understood it as. Let's see, September 14th, fully uncensored it says. And what can we else say about this game? Wanted to see what languages it was in. It's English only, so it is a Western game, but it's animating nicely. So you know, it really isn't, I guess. It's inspired by anime style, definitely inspired by anime visual novels, but they are big busted, blonde haired, at least one of them's blonde haired, blue eyed characters. I'd say the hairstyles don't change as much as they probably should. Each one has a different hair color, and I would say that the body styles don't change as much as they should. This is a problem certainly that people have to realize, is that if you're making a game like this, you really have to go the honey pop route of having a drastically different character for drastically different people's tastes. What I'm seeing here is, while there are screenshots of girls in lacy underwear, there's nothing obscene being shown on the screenshots. So maybe that's something that, unless it's in the video, and I don't think there's anything in the video. It's got mixed reviews. I'm gonna have to adjust the font size on this because I can't read it on Steam. It's overall rated very positive, but it's mixed reviews in the last 30 days, so I don't know what you can really say with that.
I wonder.
And this is from a developer who has developed several other games, but they have the new curator thing, so there's a couple other games. So I guess they get the first title. Then they will always be the first fully uncensored game, well, sex game, on Steam. Generally speaking, I would say it's probably an average game. It's not probably the best ever. It's also, while Japanese inspired, not a Japanese game, so there is potential if 2 or 3 weeks go by and no Japanese visual novels have been approved, but a ton of non-Japanese sex games have been approved, that would be questionable, certainly. It looks like a fine game. It's on my wish list. I see no reason to take it off my wish list. But also I see no reason to like throw up my hands in celebration and try to cover the game and try to somehow get that on Steam. I imagine it's a lot like Honey Pop, and a lot of these games are really just like Honey Pop, where there's very little actual images, and so there really isn't that much to censor in the first place. We'll possibly come back to that story if there's really anything else to say about it. Did I really need to hit that?
Justice is mine.
Next we have a game on Steam called Entangled. It seems like it's a physics game where you're a ball and you can grab onto certain points and spin yourself around with like a grappling hook using the mouse controls. And I think the idea is to try and play some pinball-esque experience. The things that are animated are pretty simplistic shapes though, and I just don't see anything here that would make it anywhere worth the $11.89 that it's selling for right now. Man, that is a really high price.
Justice is mine.
Yeah, it's 15% off for $11.89. It has 6 Steam achievements, so it's not like it's an achievement game or anything. It's the first game from this developer. It's just not good quality. I don't know how much this is news.
I want you, and you, and you.
I'm not sure how much of this is news, and I would hope that this isn't a stunt and made up. Although you'd almost hope it was a stunt and not something that streamers have to worry about. PC Gamer has an article, Dr. Disrespect, famous streamer, maybe slightly controversial streamer if I did some more research on them. I really don't care about Dr. Disrespect one way or the other. Like, he's a streamer. I'm a streamer, whatever. Like, he's a much bigger streamer than me. Streamers don't particularly follow other streamers too much. We're too busy creating our own streams. But Dr. Disrespect's in stream after apparent gunshot strikes his house, says family is safe. The streamer says this is the second time in 2 days that his house has been fired on. Which that inherently right then is why you don't want to ever give out any information, is because there are crazy people out there that will go by your house and potentially try and shoot you. There's an update, September 12th, 7:30 a.m. Pacific. Deputies have told ABC 10 News that the weapon used may have been a BB gun. The first incident, which occurred the day before the house window was hit, shattered the car windows. So, yeah, it's probably a kid with a BB gun more than a real gun, which that is good. So that's a great example of why you don't give kids BB guns, or if you do let them shoot BB guns, that they should be much in my same way that I think all guns should be at gun ranges, and if you want to have a fun time going to shoot guns, the guns should remain at the gun ranges, and the bullets should stay at the gun ranges. Or same as the paintball field too. It's like you should just rent those things out and not bring them home to a place where they could be used where they shouldn't be used. Actually, I haven't thought about it in a long time, but my parents' car happened to be shot out with a BB gun. Their window was. I'm not sure really what the reason was, if there really was any reason at all. But yeah, so I kind of have an experience like that. Although the one thing we didn't do is we didn't hear the guns from inside the house, and we didn't think that or imply for a second that we were being shot at with a real gun. There's a big difference in the sound of a BB gun versus a real gun. Although if you hear a window shatter, you hear a window shatter.
Mael versus Uther. I will fight with honor.
None can escape my fury.
But that's kind of a reassuring, as I'm now reading this, it's kind of reassuring to say, oh, it's just somebody who at least doesn't have access to a real gun doing this, instead of it being something where real bullets are flying through his walls. Bullets go for, I think, about 2 miles, so if you shoot them in the air or if you shoot them through a wall, there's a very good chance that it will just keep going and hit you don't know what. That's generally a reason why you would.
Justice is mine.
I was watching a training video of somebody training people how to shoot and not miss, and they were talking about, oh no, you're not gonna be at a shooting range where you're 6 to 12 feet away from the person. You're gonna be within 3 or 4 feet away from the person, because you're gonna be talking to them, you're gonna approach them like a normal thing. And yeah, when you think about it, like, even when you see in police footage, like when the police start shooting at somebody who is running away and far away, they're firing a lot of shots and they're not particularly hitting a lot of hitting the person every time. And so yeah, there's a good chance that a lot of stray bullets are flying around, and there have been many stories where stray bullets have hit other people. Let's see, I don't want to attack right now. Moving on, we have a game on Steam called Just One Line. They say it's a fantasy RPG game book like indie game, heavily focused on choices and the consequences. I don't know what game book is, as far as it. They're saying it's a choose your own adventure type game, but you can craft your characters. It's not a great crafting system, and they don't look very good. There is quite a lot of polish on this, considering this is just a visual text-based game. Like, it really doesn't look like your standard text-based game. Which I guess I really have to applaud the extra effort. But even though they put in the extra effort, the game still looks awful. It has 20 achievements, it's 15% off for $8.49, and I'm still very much questioning whether games that are text-based adventures should be allowed on Steam, if not filtered in some way. Although they probably are, for the most part, filtered, because I doubt very many people see them. Just One Line does have 75% positive reviews of 41 user reviews, so that's something. The thing too is Hand of Fate 1 and 2 isn't really too far from a text-based adventure either. But I would say if you go any lower quality than a game like Hand of Fate, you're invoking a level of poor quality design that's not acceptable. Let's see. We're back to the European Parliament passed this controversial copyright bill that could drastically impact the internet. The bill calls for the internet link tax and other controversial measures. See if we can dig into this down. And this is part of the reason why net neutrality being revoked in the United States was really just a domino effect of how many other countries are going to see that as a green light to do the same. There are already talks that like YouTube and Twitch are getting throttled the day basically after net neutrality stopped being a law. The paragraph here says, on the surface the bill aims to make certain that artists, notably musicians, performers, and script authors, as well as news publishers and journalists, are properly compensated for their work. Which, honestly, if you want artists, musicians, performers, and script authors to be properly compensated, the last thing you do is you strengthen the copyright law, because they don't own any of those copyrights. It's just that simple. They worked for hire almost 100%, and those are all owned by corporations like Sony, Viacom in particular. This is just a big old paycheck to Viacom and other people. The people that are constantly content IDing it. UMG, Universal Music Group, another great one that I have to deal with all the time.
Access denied.
Let's see. When it is used by sharing platforms such as YouTube, Facebook, and other news aggregators such as Google News. So Google, YouTube, and Google News both getting attacked directly, and throw Facebook in there for good measure. It's all about fair play for artists and journalists, according to the Parliament. Let's see. Just go ahead and end the turn. How the bill goes about it, however, has caused a ruckus. The most controversial parts of the bill are Article 13 and 11. In that order, Article 13 holds companies like Google, Facebook liable for copyrighted material that users uploaded, which is insane, certainly. And that was the whole thing about the DMCA, is that the DMCA was sold at least as, oh well, to stop us from holding Google and YouTube liable for what a user uploads. You can fill out a DMCA and we'll take it down as soon as possible, and thus we aren't liable. This European law says no, you're still liable. So all of Google's content ID system, pointless. It's been that way from the beginning. It's like every time Google bent over to satisfy them, it was never good enough. Let's see. To protect against those services like YouTube would need to implement aggressive automatic content filters, which inherently what this would mean is that all uploads and all like no more streaming, period. You can't stream at all in the European Union if this becomes law, because you would have to take some time to check and see if the if the thing that was being streamed was copyrighted. And all scheduled videos would now take way longer. Although, yeah, I'd say way longer. Because, like, uploaded videos right now, there's no 100% guarantee that they are getting scanned for copyright immediately. Every single copyrighted thing immediately. Some critics say the filters would essentially amount to surveillance and would ultimately hurt freedom of expression. Absolutely. And could even lead to the death of memes. Well, I don't think we can lose the memes. We want them. Right. Destroy a minion. Do this.
Justice
Attack
is
this.
mine.
Do this. And hit that. And that.
Job done.
Quote, anything you want to publish will need to be approved by these filters. Julia Rydo, a German lawmaker who opposes the law, told CNN. Perfectly legal content like parodies and memes would be caught in the crosshairs. Jim Killock, the executive director of Open Rights Group, echoed Rydo's sentiment in an email to CNBC. He planned for robo-copyright would target memes, parodies, and clips of people cheering at football matches, which have already been heavily targeted by the NFL. Like, we've seen how bad it is now. The idea that this makes it better is
mine.
Really just a level of insanity. It is just a lack of realistic understanding of how the world has been in the past 10 years. Let's see, let's skip some of these. They keep selling this as the meme killing law, which is what they were always selling it as, and I think that's probably the wrong one. Skipping on. Article 11 would implement what critics are calling a link tax. According to the scathing breakdown on Boing Boing, Article 11 would make it so that sites would not be able to link to a news story if the link text includes more than a single word from the article's headline. Sites like Google News and Facebook, that's insane. Like, how in the world do you describe to somebody, hey, check out this news article on CNN, when you can't describe what's in the article? And news has never been copyrightable either, so I don't, like, unless I'm just totally wrong, I never thought that the news was copyrightable. And if people are pushing to copyright news, that should just not be a thing. It should all be public domain. Public news and public information should be public domain. That's so stupidly obvious. Let's see. The final part of this paragraph is the good news for those who oppose the measure is that this is far from a done deal, as explained by Ars Technica. They are linking to several different websites in this PC Gamer article. The proposal now enters a negotiation between Parliament and the Council of the European Union and the European Commission. Should the three bodies agree to a final revised set of rules, it would be sent to each of the 28 European Union countries for implementation in national laws. So that's interesting. I don't understand how the European Union works particularly. It apparently is not like the federal government in the United States, where you just can make federal laws directly. You have to send it to the countries, and the countries then have to make their own laws. But I'm not sure I trust all 28 of those countries to implement those laws in the same way. Okay, where are we now? We have gone an hour and 12 minutes. We need one more victory here on the Americas account, which I can save that for Friday. So let's just, in the break, skip over to the European account, which at a certain point, maybe I won't be able to play the European accounts on Hearthstone anymore for some crazy law. Anyways, though, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me, you can gift me a game on Steam or support me on Patreon. Info down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.